Okay, thanks.
Such a big rope out for you.
Appreciate that. Oh, may I have some too?
Sure. I'd be more than happy, Kathy, to give you some water.
Who was drinking coffee?
That was Pat.
That would.
Pat. Yeah.
Fill me up, please.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's that now?
That's shit. That just. You think?
Ooh, Dennis, you got elevated to the front table.
Okay, got it. All right, got it.
Call the meeting to order. Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton?
Here.
Trustee Dodge?
Here.
Trustee Guerra?
Here.
Trustee Ruzick?
Here.
Trustee Calandrello?
Here.
Trustee Carroll?
Here.
Mayor Pica?
Here.
Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of March 19, 2018 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
move to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting of March 19, 2018.
Second.
Are there any changes to the minutes? Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Guerra?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Ruzick?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Carroll?
Aye.
Mayor Pica?
Aye.
Chicago White Sox Charities raffle license.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Carroll.
I move to approve issuing a raffle license to the Chicago White Sox Charities, Inc. to sell raffle tickets at the C.J. Wilson Mazda car dealership in Orland Park, 8910 West 159th Street, from April 3rd, 2018 through August 31st, 2018.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Carroll?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Guerra?
Aye.
Trustee Ruzick?
Aye.
Mayor Pica?
Aye.
Honoring the Orland Junior High School 6th and 7th grade girls volleyball team.
So I'd like to take this opportunity to honor the Orland Junior High 6th and 7th grade girls volleyball team for winning their SWIC conference tournament. I think it's the first time in 50 years. Is that correct? 40. 40 years.
That'll work.
So the last time they won it, then I was actually going to Orland Junior High. So congratulations for a job well done. Very hard work, and the town's very proud of you. I'll call you up one at a time. Brianna Borkman. Isabel Calderon. Emily Castillion.
Not you. There we go.
Gabby Casio. Tahara Hernandez. Phoebe Hodge.
Yeah.
Sam Jeffers. Grace Kucinski. Chloe McGregor Patterson. Cameron Subaru. Anna Tudor. Kayla Zubek. And Coach Craig, do you have anything you'd like to add? Jody Wilson.
Congratulations, guys.
Really happy to go on and say.
I got caught. I tried. Good position.
Congratulations again.
Go Eagles! Good job. Congratulations. Okay, now I have to. Can't blame them.
Ready? Earth Day, April 22nd, 2018, and Arbor Day, April 27, 2018.
So at this point, I'd like to have a proclamation for Earth Day and Arbor Day 2018. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas the Village of Orland Park has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue its tree planting ways. Now therefore I, Keith Peacock, Mayor of Village of Orland Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois, do hereby proclaim April 22nd, 2018 as Earth Day and April 27, 2018 is Arbor Day in the Village of Orland Park, and urge all citizens to support efforts to protect our trees and to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations. Dated this 5th day of April, 2018.
Museum Development Advisory Commission.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
move to advise and consent the appointment of Sue Jamrose to the Museum Development Advisory Commission.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello. Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
Technology Commission appointment.
Mr. Chairman.
Or do you want to?
Yeah, I'll swear. Actually, you know what? We'll do all the
Yeah, just-
appointments, and I'll swear everyone in.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Dodge.
move to advise and consent to the appointment of Sean Campus to the Technology Commission.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
Plan Commission appointment.
Mr. Chairman? Oh, I'm sorry. No, go
Trustee
ahead. You
Calandrello.
do it. I'll second you, Kara.
No, go ahead.
Please.
I move to advise and consent the appointment of Patrick Zamparelli to the Plan Commission.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Peacock.
Aye.
Plan Commission Chairman appointment.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Ruzick.
I will make the motion so that we can have a discussion on the floor, but I expect there will be some discussion on this. I move to advise and consent to the appointment of Ed Schussler as the chairman of the Plan Commission.
And I will second the motion for the purpose of discussion.
Apparently, there's some questions or comments, so. Are there any questions or comments?
Oh, Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Fenton.
In relation to this appointment, I personally feel that there are 5 other members who have more seniority on the Plan Commission who outrightly deserve to have that position versus someone who just joined the Plan Commission.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Carroll.
Yeah, I would join in Trustee Fenton's concerns. My understanding is that this member has been on for 3 meetings. I know that all of our commissions do a lot of great, hard work for the village, but I can't think of any other commission currently that does more work in advance of their meetings, during their meetings, and serves a pretty vital role to help us parcel out what we want to do as a board. I think not having one of the members that's been a vice chair or a long-serving member get an opportunity to be chairman for at least a little while wouldn't be fair to them.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Guerra.
I served on the Plan Commission for almost 10 years, and I can tell you that there are many people there that work very hard, as Trustee Carroll said, and I think it would be disheartening to all those who've been serving for so long to appoint a new person as the chair. I agree. I think there should be a rotation established.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor? So,
Trustee Ruzick.
so my comment was just that I think, the Plan Commission is one of the most important commissions we have. I think everyone on that commission is qualified to serve as a chairman, including Ed Schussler. He obviously served as a board member for many years. I think he would be qualified. Now, having said that, I like the idea of a rotating chairmanship. I don't know if that's something that we have done ever in the past before I was on the board, but I think for those who have served for a longer period of time, the opportunity to serve as a chairman should be considered to those.
Mr. Chairman?
Trustee Dodge.
So I know Paul Aubin and have for many years, certainly capable of doing this. I know Ed Schussler. In fact, he and I were standing at All Saints Lutheran Church in 1989. We both discovered, along with Bill Vogel, that we had been elected. So I've got a long history with both of these gentlemen. They're both fine members of the community and public servants and all that. I guess, in my experience, we did something like this when I was on the Metro Board, where for too long, it sat in one of the Collier counties' control, and we eventually moved to a schema where we had rotating chairmanship. So I'd be comfortable with the idea. Ed could do the job, Paul could do the job, there's other members on the board, on the Planning Commission, that could certainly do the job. And I wonder if we might think of something like the chairmanship is essentially a year-long or a 2-year-long rotation. So just asking the question.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Calandrello.
I'm not going to echo everyone else. I think it'd be a good to kind of go with Carol and Jim and James that we should maybe have a 1-year rotation. The vice chair becomes the chair, and this way everyone gets a turn, everyone knows what's going on, and I think it keeps it fresh. I think that's one of the issues where sometimes chair people get stale. I'm not saying in any particular committee, but I think it'd be a good rotation. Maybe that should be the policy. I don't know if that should be a motion, or I'm not sure. And we could go from there. So I just think that rotations would be good, and I just echo everyone else's opinion.
So my comments would be, first off, that we just went through a painstaking process for 9 or 10 months to review the commissions, all of them, and this change was never mentioned, never brought up, was never acted upon, was never installed by anyone. In fact, last week or the week before, we passed that the chairmen of the commissions are appointed by the village president, unless it otherwise says so, in those specific commissions. So therefore, it is my responsibility to appoint, your responsibility to advise and consent. In the past, you've made it clear that when there are vacancies, which there is in this case, that there wouldn't be any, that it wouldn't be blocked. I've been told you wouldn't let me replace someone even though when their terms are up. In this case, we have someone who has resigned. So I am using my prerogative to appoint who I feel will make the best chairman. I don't think there's anyone on this board that would question Ed Schuster's qualifications to fill this role. I didn't hear anyone question his qualifications. So from that standpoint, that's my position, and that's who I'm appointing. Call the roll.
Trustee Ruzick?
No.
Trustee Guerra?
No.
Trustee Fenton?
No?
Trustee Dodge?
No.
Trustee Calandrello?
Nope.
Trustee Carroll?
No.
Mayor Pico?
Aye. It fails 6-1.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Guerra.
just for point of clarity, I did bring up that that position had not been replaced during the conversation when we were discussing replacing people before resignations and wholesale.
and-
It was brought up.
And just to be clear, we talked about it the other day, and while you initially expressed concerns, you realized that I was appointing someone else to that position, and then you said nothing as far as Ed Schuster going to chairman. So that's your prerogative to vote, and I will install someone else. And then it's your prerogative to vote again. Hold on. So at this point, I'll swear in the 3 individuals, so I'll call one up at a time. Susan Jamrose.
I state your name. Having been appointed to the office of Museum Development and Advisory Board in the Village of Orland Park, and will, after said, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the Museum Development and Advisory Board to the best of my ability. Congratulations. State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of the Technology Commission
of the Office of the Technology Commission
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Okay, Tom Rowe.
Do we know this guy?
I do. Either way through high school. He's a realtor.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Patrick Zuckerberg,
Having been appointed to the office of the Planning Commission
have been appointed to the Office of Planning Commission
in the Village of Orland Park,
in the Village of Orland Park,
in the counties of Cook and Will, aforesaid,
in the County of Cook and Will, aforesaid,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
and I will faithfully discharge the duties.
Come on, Patty, you're doing well. You're doing well.
Fired.
of the Plan Commission to the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Ben.
Good.
Yep.
Yes? Consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, you want to read it out first?
Trustee Carroll.
You want a motion now, or do you want to read it out first?
Go ahead. And,
Okay.
I'll read it out first. Consent agenda. A, 2018 payroll for March 23rd, 2018 approval. B, accounts payable from March 20th through April 2nd, 2018 approval. C, implementation of Sportsplex and Village Hall campus milestone, Access software, hardware, IP camera, and server replacement upgrades approval. D, asphalt roadway crack sealing, 2018 to 2020 bid award. E, bulk material purchase concrete proposal. F, main pump station motor control center replacement proposal, Greeley and Hansen Engineering of Chicago. G, consulting engineering services for St. Michael's parking lot 48-inch CMP replacement proposal. H, stormwater easement 13835 84th Avenue ordinance. I, Fairway Stage 1 roadway improvement project following stormwater and water main improvement GMP proposal. J, PDQ Restaurant Lot 3 of 15610 LaGrange Retail Development Special Use Permit Ordinance. K, Andy's Frozen Custard 14555 LaGrange Road. L, Holiday Lighting Installation HC Lights. M, Orland Park Nature Center rezone site plan and variances ordinance. N, Appearance Improvement Grant, adjustment to maximum grant amount. O, Smith Crossing Phase 3 expansion. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman? Oh, sorry.
Trustee Carroll.
Move to approve consent agenda items A through O.
Second.
Are there anything to take off of consent? Call the roll.
Trustee Carroll?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Fenton? Aye. Trustee Guerra? Aye. Trustee Ruzek?
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
Remediation of vacant commercial space at Main Street Triangle parking structure?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Fenton.
move to approve waiving the bid process and approve accepting the proposal from Cove Remediation LLC of Alsip, Illinois for the Village of Orland Park parking structure retail space remediation in the amount not to exceed $221,000, $201,000 plus $20,000 contingency.
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Dodge.
question for village staff. How'd this happen?
Essentially, because it's a cold, dark shell, no ventilation, no heating, high humidity, this happened. We do have the consultant here if you have any specific questions, but there was no known reason why we would think that anything like this could happen. We believe it was a fire retardant that was a food source that caused us to latch on to.
So that sounds like the description of what, how did we miss, I guess I'm just, help me understand how we missed this. We didn't inspect, we didn't look.
There's no mechanicals down there. There's no reason for us to have needed to inspect anything down there. The area was secured. We became aware of that when there was the sprinkler system was giving off a false signal. When we got the notice of that, we went down there and we inspected it, but there was no reason to go into that area to ever inspect that area. There's no mechanicals down there. Nothing that would cause us to go down there and inspect it.
I think one of your, John, do you want to jump in there? I guess we had a property, we weren't looking at it.
We were looking at it, it's just we had no reason to go inside that space on any regular basis. As the village manager had indicated, there's nothing inside there. It's a stone floor, it's secured, so there was no reason to go inside there to see if there was anything going on.
I'll have some follow-up questions for you, Joe. I'll process, but not for tonight.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Yes, this is unfortunate that this has happened in the downtown Triangle area. Again, it's a parking deck and construction area. We're not it's not the typical thing that we do in Orland Park. We have 2 vacant restaurant boxes that are sitting there, and it's just not something that we as a village typically do. We're not developers. It's fortunately can be remediated, correct?
Correct.
Unfortunately, it's a $200,000 expense, again, for the triangle, correct?
Correct.
Okay. The question for you, John, or Joe, just to be sure, the remediation that we're doing is going to fix the problem so we don't have this problem again.
The remediation will remove the problem. To fix the problem, we're going to utilize a consultant to help us understand what type of mechanical ventilation needs to be added to the space to prevent anything from recurring.
So do we need to have that plan in place so we can immediately implement that?
We're in the process of putting that plan together as we speak.
Okay, and what's the estimated cost on that? So the cost isn't going to end at 200.
The cost will add to the 200, yes. That cost has not been determined as of yet.
Okay.
How about a Dectron?
No. Even though you mentioned Dectron, but one of the options is looking at putting in some type of dehumidification system.
Do we have the old one from Payless still? No.
No.
It's gone.
Gone. Way gone.
Mr. Chairman? Just
Trustee Dodge.
for the audience, after we bought Payless Health, we had a pretty expensive humidifier we had to replace, and it was a lot of money. That's where the Dectron dehumidifier, that's where that joke comes from. Thanks, John.
Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Calandrello. Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Pico.
Aye.
Amending Village Code Commissions.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Carroll.
ordinance number, please.
5287.
I move to pass ordinance number 5287 entitled, "An Ordinance Amending Chapter 5 of Title II, Recreation Advisory Board."
Second.
Are there any questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee Ruzick.
So we made this exception for the Rec Advisory Board. I guess my question is, and I think you and I spoke, Mr. Mayor, I thought that we had made this exception, but it might be something we want to consider for other commissions too, because, you know.
We had this discussion last week about the, Orland Township residents at length. And as I pointed out at the time, the reason it was in there is because we had people
Right.
who were Orland Township residents serving on commissions. And that in doing so, we would have to remove some people from commissions. It turns out most of them were on commissions that we ended anyways,
Okay.
but not this particular individual who has done an outstanding job on the commission. And as we discussed last week, in any changes we need to make going forward, if we're going to put someone who is from the township or does not meet the criteria that we amended the ordinance to last week, then we would have to make changes to those specific commissions in order to do that. And that's what this is doing, so that this one person can serve. Any other questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Calandrella.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Pica.
Aye.
Recreation Advisory Board appointment.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Calandrella.
I move to advise and consent the appointment of, and I apologize already for this one.
Landota.
Landota
Ann Smith.
and Smith, thank you.
You're welcome.
John Lawler and Carrie Carlson to the Recreation Advisory Board.
Second.
Are there any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Calandrella.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Mayor Pica.
Aye.
What's
that?
Want to read the next one before you go?
I don't think there isn't a next one, is there?
Isn't it the subcommittee we were doing now?
Recreation Advisory Board, Public Arts Subcommittee.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Calandrella.
I move to advise and consent the appointment of Landota Smith, sorry again, I apologize. John Lawler and Carrie Carlson to the Recreation Advisory Board / Public Arts Subcommittee.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Calandrella.
Aye.
Trustee Guerra.
Aye.
Trustee Fenton.
Aye.
Trustee Dodge. Aye. Trustee Ruzick.
Aye.
Trustee Carroll.
Aye.
Mayor Pica.
Aye. And now I will swear them in.
It's all for the same board, you can all come up.
I don't think they're here.
Are they here? Landota?
She's not here.
She's not here.
Landota's
Carrie
not here.
Carlson, not here. And John Lawler's not here. Okay, well, we'll swear him in another time.
I'm overwhelmed with the advice. Whole lot of advice. Sure.
You don't have anything, do you? So, non-scheduled citizens and visitors. Daniel Chirito. Joe, can you give him a microphone? A working one?
We just use the mic, right?
Mine, I'll sit down.
Sure.
I'm here to speak about public safety and with, especially now LaGrange Road has been made 3 lanes and you have these trucks driving in the left-hand lane all the way through the village, either on LaGrange or on Harlem Avenue or wherever they're at. In essence, they're a billboard out there. Us guys in the cars are back here and these guys are out here in that left-hand lane and they're not turning, they're going straight through the village. I see it as a safety problem and hindrance. I don't know if, I had a discussion with one of your officers last week and told me I was arguing with him, and I didn't see it as an argument, I thought it was a discussion. But Illinois Code 625 ILCS 5/11/701, failure to drive on the right side of roadway. That not only includes the trucks, but that's all slow-moving traffic. I think if you see the lights, sometimes you'll see 20 cars in this lane, in the far left lane, and there'll be 1 or 2 cars in the right-hand lane. I'm not addressing that. I don't know what these people are doing, but the trucks are, it's lost revenue for the village because they're not supposed to be driving in that lane. Unless they're going to turn in a reasonable amount of space. They just can't drive all the way through the village in that left-hand lane on LaGrange or Harlem Avenue. And that's my position on it, so.
Thank you for your comments. I understand there's one person that wants to speak that didn't sign in.
I have a couple of articles to give to each of you.
Joe, hand her the microphone.
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Pass those out to them.
Yeah. It's a set of 2. Thank you.
Would you state your name and your microphone, please?
Hi, my name is Mary M. Allen, and I'm a resident here at Orland Park. These articles that I'm handing out, I'm here to make a comment on the AMC Theater, the plans for the AMC Theater. And I'm not sure if it's well known who owns the AMC Theater. The AMC Theater is owned by a Chinese entrepreneur named Wang Junlin. I'm sorry because I can't pronounce his name properly. I'm not Chinese. His name is Wang Junlin, and the name of the company that owns AMC Theater is his company, and it's Dialin Wanda. And now, or Dalian Wanda. Now, Dalian Wanda is a Chinese company, and I'm not sure if you realize, but on the second article, it talks about how China uses cash and sharp power to export the communist system to foreign countries. My concern with this, allowing this AMC Theater to be built here in Orland Park, and the very large infusion of cash from a Chinese source, and the fact that China is seeking to export its communist system to other countries. And the way that they're carrying it out is through business. They'll go to a place where there's a high need for an infusion of cash, and they'll provide a very large infusion of cash, and then they bring their influence there as well. So in considering, I was here last week and listening to you all talk about the influence on the committees, the influence on the Board of Trustees, the influence, foreign influence, even from outside of Orland Park on decisions being made in the Village of Orland Park. And this is, I do believe, a very big influence that is being let in through the front door of the Village of Orland Park. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. And I mean, communism is tyrannical. There are many human rights abuses taking place in China. And the use of movies and theaters to promote propaganda and China's agenda is very real. The threat is very real. So even though they say, well, it's everything's owned by the people in the communist system, it really means it's owned by the state. So I do request that you would reconsider the approval that you've given to the building of this theater in the Village of Orland Park, and seriously give it consideration, only because of the foreign influence that you're letting into the Village of Orland Park, and especially with our young people. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. board comments? Trustee Fenton?
Nothing.
Trustee Calandrello?
Just wanted to remind everyone that there's Orland Park's in a competition to get $20,000 for a new park in Orland Park. The information is on the website. It's from the Disney company. It's one of their grants. Definitely some much needed infusion. We'll at least get one new park. I know that our parks need some help. So you can vote every day. I think you can vote every day. So you can't vote twice a day, but you can make sure you vote out there. And there's a link on our website. So hopefully it'd be nice to get one free park out there. Thank you.
Trustee Ruzick?
No comments, Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Guerra?
No comments.
Trustee Carroll?
Just have a couple quick comments before things get spun. I just want to comment, first of all, that you saw this board approve 6 of the president's nominees for commissions tonight. Prior to tonight, we've approved another dozen or more, maybe even dozens of appointments through the advice and consent powers that the board has. I do take exception to the comment that we have blocked an appointment. First of all, we did approve Ed Schuster to go on the planning commission. We did not block his appointment. But with advice and consent, commonly, and previous mayors in this village and mayors in other villages have often discussed these things with the board members prior to the board meeting. I did speak with President Pecaw last week about the out-of-town resident that he wanted to put on the Public Arts Subcommittee of the Recreation Advisory Board, and said I had no problem with that, the fact that she wasn't a village resident, and it was consulted with me beforehand. The appointment of the chairman of the Plan Commission was not brought to my attention at all. In fact, the first I saw it was when our iPads were uploaded with the agenda last Thursday or Friday. We have, routinely granted our advice and consent, but we all six of us expressed our concern that the chairman should be a rotating basis. We're more than willing to work with the board president on who those people may be, but it's been all 6 of us, to a man and woman, indicating that we would prefer it to be a rotating chairmanship. This could have been resolved prior to tonight with a simple discussion with each of us, similar to the discussion that was had about the out-of-town resident for the Recreation Advisory Board Public Arts Subcommittee. Furthermore, I just want to point out that the Finance Committee at our committee tonight did address an issue about the full-time nature of the village president. I will tell you that, Mr. Chairman, that has been continued to the May 21st board meeting with no recommendation. So in case there's any information you want us to consider at that time, my understanding is the full-time nature of the position for the next term will be at least discussed. I don't know if any action will be taken at that time, but I wanted to make you aware of it. My understanding is that you were already aware that that was on the agenda for the Finance Committee, but we continued it without any recommendation to May 21st. Thank you.
Trustee Dodge?
Just got back from Washington, D.C., took a week vacation, took my 11-year-old there, so highly recommended to take family to D.C. And my favorite quote from the week was from the cab driver when we looked at the Capitol building, and as I was telling my son about how it works, he said, well, the lights are off, they're not charging us, which I thought was kind of an interesting take on the Capitol. So that's point number 1. Point number 2, with the exception to the staff members who are trying to disguise their true colors, go Villanova. My daughter's a graduate.
So my comments tonight are, and it's not spin, contrary to popular belief. So I'm going to read what was passed just last week. Chairperson of each board and commission shall be appointed by the village president with the advice and consent of the village board of trustees, and the chairperson's roles and responsibilities shall be as follows. Then there's some responsibilities. That was passed last week. No one has mentioned rotating boards on anything over the last 9 months that we've had this drawn-out discussion on boards and commissions. Additionally, it's been made very clear to me regularly that if there's vacancies, there were no issues. It was replacements that were a problem. There's a vacancy. It is the first chairperson that I've appointed, the very first and only, and the vote was 6-1 against. So we'll just continue to work like we've worked for the last 10 or 11 months, and we'll continue to move forward. This event in the triangle, the $200,000 is unfortunate. There's going to be more to come on that one, unfortunately. We'll have to deal with it. Something that came across today, an article, which I think is really pertinent to the people of Orland Park, It says the state of Illinois generated $50 million in tax revenue with the 2% charge that they're giving to us and every other village that's out there. They didn't generate $50 million. They took $50 million. Let's be clear about that. Generating it means they actually did something. They actually took money that we normally receive, that Olympia Fields normally receives, that Oak Brook normally receives, that all of these other towns normally have received for decades. And they have taken it off the top and put it in their pocket. So they did not generate an additional $50 million. They took $50 million from local governments, including ours. And it's over $500,000, correct, Joe?
Yes.
From us.
From Orland, yeah.
So just be clear that that's what Illinois is doing to us, which makes it much harder for all of us to continue to provide services, continue to do, and hard for our staff. And so we're all working on that, trying to cut things out because the state is taking that from us because the state is dysfunctional. On positive notes, Parks and Rec, great job on the Easter egg hunt. Lots of kids, lots of eggs. Had a great time. They were gone in about 3 minutes flat. And if you've ever seen that event, you should go, and just to see how fast 10,000 eggs can be picked up. And then a kudos to our police. Their annual report came out, and just to hit the highlights, most of you have heard them before, but overall crime is down 17%. Mall crime is down 29% for last year. So kudos to our police, great job. And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call a roll.
Trustee Fenton?
Aye.
Trustee Dodge?
Aye.
Trustee Guerra?
Aye.
Trustee Ruzick? Trustee Calandrello? Trustee Carroll?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye. Have fun at the game. Or watching the game, should I say.
Rashid, really, is that rubbing?